Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Humankind. Today we're back playing the worst cultures. Now, don't worry if you didn't join us last time, because actually, we're still in the ancient era, believe it or not. The rules for this game are as follows. I am to play the worst culture available in every era and try my best to get there first. If I miss it, I will probably pop back, reload, and ensure that we get it. We are, of course, playing on Humankind difficulty as well, making this as difficult as possible. Further adding to the difficulty, every opponent in this game is indeed a subscriber AI persona as well. And these personas have their own little buffs that can be added to them by people like you and me that the normal AI personas just do not get. Take a look, 20% industry on cities here on Dusk and Dawn, and plus 100% money generated from trade routes. They also, of course, have their biases affecting their behaviours. And at the moment, you'll see we're in a pretty difficult and tricky war that was declared on us, I believe. Well, I mean, we don't need to play the blame game. But either way, we're here. We're in this war with our nearest neighbour, the Olmecs. And we're just about to move through and grab the Goths, who you voted for last time as the worst culture in the classical era. What I'm wondering is, should I move now or should I wait? You know, it might actually be useful to move through now and grab them as we look to sort of end this war, grab some military stars, that kind of thing. A very warm hello to everybody who's joining me live today as well. Thank you to everybody who's already tuning in. It's really cool to have you here. I really appreciate it. In fact, if you're reading this, you're awesome. It's a fact. So hey, Forex Gamer, Huck is here as well, the man, the myth, and the legend. Little Kerr, long time no see. It's Mazid is here too. Saloy, free thinker. Say that 5 times fast. And Dread. Am I up early or late? Well, it's the morning in New Zealand, so I guess I'm up early, but not really. This is normal time. This is normal time. Maybe half an hour earlier than I might usually start, but not by much. And sometimes we do start bang on 8 p.m. GMT. It ranges between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. GMT on a normal day. Depends how quickly I can get my act together. What about transcending? Doesn't really fit with the theme of playing the worst culture in every era. Because a transcended culture... Oh, well, I guess, a transcended culture would always be the worst culture in every era because it's from the era before. This won't be a transcend-themed run. However, I appreciate the transcend meme, don't get me wrong. Okay, here we have to win this fight, by the way, because if you didn't join us last time, let me catch you up. As I was hinting at before, we really don't have a lot of war support to stand on here. In fact, I've kind of only got one more turn after this one to at least gain some more war support, or, hopefully, win the dang war. We're holding Leventa, which is nice. I've got a couple of units here that's super weak. And we thought about attacking San Lorenzo last time. It didn't work. I'm not going to start that mess again. Absolutely not. It would be nice to have some reinforcements down here, but I reckon because we've got a melee unit, and they've got a ranged, we might almost win this. And actually, we don't have a choice, because if we don't win this, we lose. So, I'm just going to have to stand here. Okay, they're going to go onto the low ground, and they're going to throw at me. That's going to hurt like huck. Oh, jeez. Pretty unfortunate that I can't Oh, hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Problem, solution. This is fantastic. This is really good. Oh, thank God. Okay, we don't lose the war. Everybody can breathe out. A sigh of relief. Is transcending ever worth it? Asks Donkey Wan. The short answer to that is generally no. No. The benefits just don't add up. Missing out on another trait and missing out on another district for the most part, or emblematic quarter, if we're being technical with our wording, is generally not worth the 10% extra fame that you get from transcending. To make it even worse, of course, don't forget, as I was saying yesterday, you only get the 10% extra fame if you're actually earning stars. And by transcending, you don't improve your ability to earn stars. So sure, you get 10% extra fame, but if you're not earning it any faster, which you're probably not because you haven't got any extra benefits, yet you're trying to achieve a more difficult goal, it's not going to work out well for you. And in general, it doesn't. A transcend game is very hard because transcending it just doesn't stack up. It just doesn't stack up. And of course, the more errors you go through, the worse that gets, right? You can transcend once, miss out on one trait, maybe it's not the end of the world. Transcending twice, though, missing out on 2 traits and 2 districts, woof. And also, of course, I guess the final element to it, not to ramble too much, is you lose that flexibility. You lose being able to move into a militarist culture to buff your strength, or take a scientist to collective minds for a few turns, right? All of that goes out the window. Speaking of going out the window, I actually meant to choose the Goths last turn. We're going to choose them now. You voted for them last time, and then we'll get a poll rolling for who we should choose next. Just go Olmecs only and transcend after that. That probably would be the theme for the Olmec gang game, I think, for Xgamer. Not to mention missing out on the EUs. Yeah, the emblematic units. True. Another point. It is true. Emblematic units, and I cop a lot of flack for this in my tier list videos as well, but I tend to place a lower rank, a much lower ranking, usually, on the value of an emblematic unit relative to the value of a district and a trait. The trait is unlocked immediately, you keep it for the rest of the game. The district is usually unlocked immediately, and you'll keep it for the rest of the game. The unit is almost never unlocked immediately, and you won't keep it for the rest of the game, because it will become redundant. Furthermore, add resource constraints on it, and you end up with something that I stand on this hill. They're just not as great of a consideration by quite some margin. By quite some margin. It's not to say that war isn't powerful and that unique units aren't powerful, because some of them are absolutely amazing and they will turn the tide of victory for you, assuming you're fighting, of course, right? And that's another factor. You might only be fighting for half the game, whereas your emblematic quarters and traits will be used the entire time. That's some of my rationale behind generally not ranking units as highly as everything else. Less use case, more redundant, difficult to obtain, in a nutshell, I guess. But people do disagree with me, and I totally respect that. You know, if the Spanish conquistador makes them a S-tier civ for you, then you go for it, sister. Okay. We've got a horse, and I've got a sword and an archer. And I've got 2 more horses out back. Well, 2 warriors out back. This is ugly. Can I avoid this?
Greetings.
Oh, if I win it, I'll win. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. We could try and rush some extra... We probably should try and run some extra units over, actually. Just so that we have a little bit of extra strength to fall back on. I'm just hoping and praying that these units don't get any ideas, because if they do, I can't retaliate. What are they? Okay. I'm just gonna make sure I have a unit here, I guess. We'll go for a single unit in this city. And we should probably attach, I think. We should probably attach. Yeah, we're falling behind a little bit. And we're about to move through as the Goths. Super exciting. I have selected them, so we'll get some polls rolling for what we need to play as next. You can hoon that way. You can... Or... It's even bad positioning. I wonder if we just retreat. We're holding this city. Let's try the retreat and see what that does. Okay. Okay, it like just works. I'll be in this game, I'll be in this for, again, 1 more turn. I don't know about this, Chief. Might be a good idea to just claim this, even though it's a really bad territory. So that we could potentially heal here in future. Or indeed right now. This will be the make or break point. I need to get this unit, ironically, or stupidly, back this way. Get out of there!
There are a lot of tribes.
Okay. Right, so you're healed. The downside is I'm gonna lose this fight this turn, so I have to try and generate some war score. Which we'll be able to do by forcing retreats. There's 1 unit, which is really easy to make retreat. You're about to pillage this, And I reckon, because I've got my unique charging Hittite unit here, we could almost scare them off. Trouble is, I'm too far away. Okay, no points to be earned there. Potential points to be earned here as well. 3v4. I think we could probably win that 3v4 as well. But first, let's see if I can win anything over this way. Hone this unit here. Ooh, these units are retreating. Huh. Okay. Oh, this thing is so frustrating. It's just trying to get like 2 war score out of them. I was hoping that would trigger them into a fight, but it did not. We can't trigger that one onto a fight. Might be able to try and scare that one. If this fails, we'll have to bounce back a turn and move these units out last turn, if you know what I mean. Just to make sure that we have the proper war score. It's so stupid. Hey, Exodus, nice to see you. And Kushal as well. Welcome. Pastor asks, were you able to draw any conclusions from adding the live button to your thumbnails? I wonder if you were able to see a difference in viewership compared to normal uploads. Hey, yeah, that's a really interesting question, Pastor. Generally, I don't think so. I'm still playing around with that though, whether it should be in there or not. Because it's hard to tell, because depending on the day, the number of people tuning in will change a lot as well. So there are lots of third variables that make it difficult to calculate, basically. I think it might make a small difference. I think it might make a small difference. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay. I hate this. This warrior I don't think is even mine. This is someone else's regiment who I've just borrowed, right? Oh no, it's actually these two. These indifferent dead people. Jeez. I mean, yikes. Okay. March in, as I say. Just send everybody in. It's fine. It's probably even fine to just send them here, to be honest. Like, what is this? Can I take this? Next turn, maybe. Just to check in again. Scheiße. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. The amount of trying to fine-tune this here at the start of the stream is driving me mad. I hope it's not driving you mad as well. Let me say hello to my wonderful friends on Twitch. Hey, Dr. Train, good evening to you. Or a very good morning from me. Bunker is here as well. Hey, friend. If EUs aren't that important, why is the Romans a B tier? Well, I mean, it's not a definitive black and white answer, right? It's not all EUs are not important ever. And it's also not all EUs are amazing ever. There's a spectrum, and most of the time, I'm talking relative power level. A district you use 100% of the time versus a unit you might use for 20% of the game. The district will provide more value. It's kind of just basic numbers. However, the Roman unit is very good. They're not all bad, please. Don't take what I'm saying as just a blanket dismissal of units. Because that's absolutely not what I'm trying to communicate. And actually, I would say, if that is what it sounded like I communicate, then I probably stuffed up. So, sorry. I should have communicated that clearer. Can't you send your mounted unit alone with the rest of the army behind? Could do. That would be a fight that I would lose if they're not within 2 tiles though, because they won't have the movement points to reinforce. It'd be close though, wouldn't it? It would be really close, actually. But thankfully now we have the benefit of time on our side. Also, I can just make the slight change of grabbing the Goths immediately. Not that that really is going to help us at all. Let's remind ourselves of what they do, actually. Combat strength when ransacking. Okay, there's some use case. +2 influence on garrison. We have none, so we're not getting anything from it. The Gothic cavalry are actually a fairly decent, although let's remember mounted units, so difficult to actually get over walls with them. Their other thing is that they require technology and 1 iron, so we have to try and chase that down as well before we can build them. We can get the district online immediately though. However, because we're playing bad cultures, as you'll imagine, this district is not necessarily going to surge me up in technology or industry or food, meaning it's not helping a lot of my stars, except for, of course, the aesthete star. Doesn't combine very well with our militarist goals, but that is, after all, why we don't really consider the Goth to be all that hot. In fact, they're so not hot, we've considered them to be, quote, the worst culture in the era. I don't know. Have you researched organized warfare yet? You bet your backside. Researched everything except sailing, my brother. Because of our really fast science game we decided to play. The Hittites needed something to surge them through. We decided to focus on science. Actually, largely thanks to the wonderful moderator who I don't think is here today, Hoff. Should we stab him? Probably should, but I kind of don't want to lose this unit, so I might just defend and take the hit. Oh, we should take the flag. I mean, come on. Take the flag and move to the high ground sort of seems like a no-brainer. Nice. In this alternate reality, I haven't claimed this outpost. Might just rest on our laurels there. I do want to attach this. Can't do it at the minute because of hostile army. Those guys. Who I will chase down. Let's get ourselves a archer queued up there. And bring these units to chase down these guys. Can I get... can I get... No. I was wondering if I could just quickly surge another unit out of here, but it looks like I can't. We are also losing a little bit of stability, so maybe not the end of the world. Maybe not the end of the world to start actually getting the Goth district. Who knows? And I don't want to claim that. See ya. Okay, Chief. Merge up with your mates. Let's get everybody together as we move through to, interestingly, another militarist culture. Will this be a common theme? Maybe. We'll find out. Hey, thanks so much, Lokias, for following on Twitch 10 minutes ago. Follower number 786. Go you.
Of intangibles with the Goths. There were a lot of tribes and a lot of travel.
Okay. Sus can produce its extra archer. It won't be in reinforced range, but it might be useful if the battle drags out. It's actually moving in my favor though, so maybe I just say everything's fine. 2 turns left on that. We'll step up above them on the high ground. And maybe actually just trigger this fight. Yeah. This looks like a good spot for me, I think. We'll put the horse down there because it can do some charging or something. It's also generally stronger than the rest. Yeah. What kind of strengths do you have? Interesting. Okay, let's take out the ranged unit first. Or otherwise, just carry out low ground stabbity stabbers. Thank you kindly. Can't watch much of the stream today as I have to have a good sleep. Hey, fair enough. Sleep matters. It's definitely worth it to keep experimenting. I didn't understand at first, but then realized it's a much better indicator to viewers that it isn't a traditional 10-minute vid. Love your stuff, keep it up. Thanks, Pastor. Yeah, I might actually continue to put it on again in future, more often than not, maybe. Because it's also really useful for me to hear from people like you. If it matters to you, that's important to me. Charge that one down, and there's sort of a greater there's a greater priority here to try and defend the archer. It's probably... Oh, no, actually, we did get that horse. I was going to say it's probably too late, though, because we're surrounded on all sides. And unfortunately, it was. Don't forget, though, our archers are fairly outclassed. We'll go for an absolute charge move on that guy, nearly obliterating him. Send the little warrior back there to just dust up his friend, and we're away. Brilliant. Another successful fight against the tyranny that is the Dusk and Dawn Empire. We'll heal up those two boys. And... okay. We'll fight this fight as well. I think we lose this fight. I probably should have ran away. I regret fighting it, but I'm gonna live with the consequences. Let's end the fight. Oh, and they get first mover advantage as well. I absolutely should have ran away. Oh, I mean, I guess you win some, you lose some. And we might still be able to bring this back, so don't give up hope just yet. Volley over the top of that. Love it. I do need to defend the flag if I can, but moving to the low ground to defend it, either way, I'm on low ground, I suppose. So we'll just move through and hold, because they're on a river. However, they just moved off, well, slightly moved off the river. Okay, let's try and bottleneck them back here instead. We'll leave one spot free and defend. That way we'll only be able to be attacked by one unit per turn. I don't think it's going to be enough, though, is it? I guess their first mover advantage gives me the last mover advantage. Which might be enough to carry us through. I don't know. If I do quickly panic and place an outpost here, we'll be able to heal this unit and reinforce next turn if stuff really hits the fan. So, don't panic. I don't have the money to heal them. We can't just throw gold coins at them until they feel healthy. But, we can at least get some passive heals going on. As a viewer, I like the live indicator. Thank you, Hexodus. I appreciate it. Thank you. YouTube's an awful platform. I love analyzing the small details. Thanks for letting me pick your brain. Oh, I know. I love it too. It's a very fascinating place. And very difficult to navigate. I think Jammer needs copy. Really unsure why he moved that unit when he could have just held. Yep. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. However, turns out, doesn't matter. War's over. Let's end this and be done with this mess. For now. For now. Territories can also be claimed by spending more score, even though they're not linked to any demand. Do I want to grab Learner? I can. Where is it? Sure, why not? Stuff it. Let's get Learner. Let's take Laventa and $120 for our troubles. Brilliant. Slightly brilliant. We'll see. Okay, the question is, really, who are we going to choose for the next era? And because I don't have the overlay open, let me just go and refer to my super spreadsheet of awesome. Okay, so, in Era 3, the medieval era, not the worst era in the game, there are quite a few interesting cultures. One that I've never really liked have been the Byzantines, because of their weird reliance on horses. But I don't think that they're terrible. Other shortlisted options for the worst cultures in the era, there actually aren't that many that are super bad. The medieval era, relative within itself, isn't terrible. Is it maybe the Umayyads, the Mongols, and the Byzantines as the worst three? Of course, we'll do a poll for 2, but what do you think? If you could let me know, I'd really appreciate it, because I'm actually... my rankings for them are so close together, and honestly, maybe even slightly out of date as well. I heard Luna has a nice swamp. Just be careful of the Hydra. Reference just went straight over the top of my head. I'm so sorry. The Umayyads, the Teutons might be in there too. Oh, I used to think the same about the Teutons, but because their district counts as a maker's quarter, I disagree. I think they're quite good. And they're an expansionist, which is way better now too. So I don't think the Teutons are bad enough. In fact, I would feel kind of like I was robbing you if I played the Teutons. I think they're a step up. I think, yeah, maybe the Umayyads. Difficulty with them is, of course, they're the only science culture, which does give them quite a nice bonus. Not that we have to avoid scientists, but it does give them quite a nice bonus. Let's go... Oh, I don't want to waste 4 turns on a public fountain here. But I note that stability is waning. This is potentially a wartime city in future. Let's not forget that. Maybe I produce a Gareth's son. Smack bang there on the border. It will... I do get a little bit more benefit now that we're the Goths, so I guess I could lean in on that as well. Let's connect a territory to live into to pump some extra people in. I like the idea of food and industry. We're losing a bit of cash, but it's probably not the end of the world. Oh, and we'll be able to attach this one too. And it's going to be a very weird situation where we've pinched a city right adjacent, right capital adjacent to them. Pretty weird. There's also a source of iron, which I note is fairly important to me. I'm going to need the technology to be able to get it, though. The other question is, do I want to waste 9 turns on a tumulus? Or do I just need to build up my industry? I think I really need to build up my industry, don't I? I think that involves having everyone on industry too. Because our food is really good because we built up enough foodie districts that it should carry us through for a little bit longer. This has buffed this considerably. Forests and woodland. Mountains and rocky fields. I mean, they're both good, but I wonder if it's worthwhile actually getting more industrial jobs. We'll finish the forge and then get a maker's quarter. We then, of course, need to not forget about the pyramids and the obelisk of the gods. Another important thing for me. Finally, I need to clear out these units that are stomping around in my territory like there's no tomorrow. So, first up, let's rendezvous the units in the middle here. Merge them up into an army. Brilliant. Next step is to do the same over here to try and get some sort of cohesive plan. Oh my god, we're going to be able to hoover these guys up sometime soon too. I might throw some stuff at them to speed the process up. It seems to be slowing down. Why? Oh, we're not even that... We share a geopolitical view of the worldliness. But apart from that, we're a little different from each other. To be fair to say. Not the most cohesive of empires. Basics. Gotta get back to the basics. We've got a lot of stone fields in the city that irks me. So I might go stoneworks first. Everybody on industry? 1 extra turn. No, we'll go for the population here instead, because it's a tiny little city. And then over in Shush. What is your game plan? You have some forested area. You have some rocky fields. No great specialization here. Get people on industry and science, which is a bit odd, but I think we do need to do that just to carry us through and ensure that we get a couple of key technologies, like the ability to connect iron, for example. +9 faith. So this provides 2 faith per adjacent district. And then a generic 3. Okay. Obelisk of the Gods would give me a whomping 20 faith and 20 stability. It might be a better idea to focus on one of those key projects, I think. Oh. Oh my god, they did. Grabbing these 2 papyrus will be great for our science gain. Brilliant. Lost that territory there to the Morians, which is a shame. We might try and make sure that we don't lose that one to them. And maybe even these ones. Can you please explain to me how to trade? Absolutely, Last Zulu. Happy to. Does he know we're talking to him, or can he not read? I'm still happy to answer your question. So, to trade, the easiest way to do it is usually to open up the Empire screen and hit trade. Best way to do it. You'll need to have a trade treaty first to trade luxuries, and then just hit the person you want to trade with and hit trade. The other way to do it is to find their empire, find a resource, and if you have a trade treaty, you can trade that way as well. Hopefully that answers your question and proves to you that I can read. Hexodus, if I remember good. With the Umayyads, you can beeline patronage. Yeah, super strong, right? Maybe not quite as strong as the French beelining their nukes, but I think that alone kind of lifts the relatively weak Umayyads up. Hey Jumbo, you should increase industry. Rude Irish knight. Absolutely right, as always. Okay, I didn't get a huge amount of feedback on what the two bad cultures are, but it sounds to me, generally, running a bit late, but I made it. Huck, good to see you! I feel like I haven't seen you in so long! Okay. It sounds to me like it's the Umayyads and the Byzantines. I think they're our two worst cultures. We could set some limits on the Umayyads if you'd like, if we think that their scientisty thing is too strong. Shucks. But I'll put them in. We could say maybe Umayyads without collective minds. That might be a nice way to balance them. And although, does that make them... I don't know. Either way, let's run the poll, and I'll take feedback on it as we go. I think probably the Byzantines and the Umayyads are the worst. L. O'Neill, agree with Hex, Byzantines may be the obvious choice. Okay, yep. If it's that obvious, and it probably is, let's go Byzantines and then Umayyads with a condition: no collective minds. Okay, so no using the collective minds ability if we choose the Umayyads. Just placing another limiting factor to try and make them as equally garbage as the Byzantines. This should put them roughly on par with each other, maybe. I'll be very interested to see how the votes go. Let's do it. Umayyads or the Byzantines. The poll... Oh, thank you, Huck. You're fantastic. Okay, the descendant of kings. I do need the stability, it's worth noting. Which means I need to trade. But I think we'll go accede.
You have reached the end of an ideology axis.
Seems good to me.
All the epithets.
And let me just quickly check in case I've missed anybody. Nope, we're good. Alrighty, let's carry on. You two, quickly, merge together. We need strength, gosh darn it. Because what we can do is scare that unit away. It'll absolutely run away because we've got an anti-horse versus a horse. Makes sense. Let's grab iron because we know that we need that to get our Gothic cavalry online, if we want to get it online. To be honest, I don't even know, but maybe. Is that a rebel being spawned out of here? Yeah, it is. Should be the last of its kind, though, because stability is up above 30% now. Unless it's spawning out of their territory. Which it could very well be. I don't know. Do I want to get one of my Gothic beauties down? It's a Gothic beauty. No, actually, I think you're right. I think we need to focus on a little bit more industry. One more dude will finish that garrison quicker as well. 2 more dudes. Who cares? Screw it, let's do it. Focus up on industry. This city actually does already have a few industrial quarters though, so I don't mind so much building the unique Goth. I mean, let's be real, it's a hill with some grass, right? Is that what it is? I don't mind building it either way. Don't forget also we have our militarist iron reserves ability, so if we do want to shift population around or fight someone really quickly or whatever, we can do that. Okay, you lot, get in here and claim me this, to be honest, pretty sexy looking territory. I'll have to enact that because I don't want to take the -50 stability hit. A little bit of a shame, but it is what it is. Could consider getting the pyramids down in Leventa, but it does make them risky. We lose that city, we lose the pyramids. So I think we'll start to queue up one of these things very soon. let's sell it, and as always, grab the chance of triggering another narrative event. Does anybody in chat understand how to use the trade feature? Yes. Again, last Zulu, just to reiterate for you, click on the opponent, click trade, select the resource, and if you have the money you can buy it. You need to have the trade treaty enacted first. I won't answer that question a third time, everybody, I promise. I won't answer it a third time, but there's a chance that they're not trolling and they did actually just genuinely miss my answer. So I'll try and provide. Let's improve our industry by getting +2 industry on forest and woodland. Hey, actually, maybe they can't. Maybe they can't watch. Maybe they can only read. So I should write my reply. Then buy the resource. You need the trade treaty first too. There we go. Oh gosh, he's nothing if not helpful. Okay. Let's take Leventa, or not take Leventa, but let's hold Leventa close to our bodies. I'm a little worried about it. We might also take this opportunity to chop some trees, although they are now providing me with more industry. Kind of incentivizes me not to do so, doesn't it? I mean, can you give me a visual show of how you would go about trading it? Because I can't find it in-game. Yes, I just did. I genuinely missed it the second time and I got tired of waiting the first time. I think 4X is a bot. Too true. Sure, I've already showed you twice, so you might just want to rewind. Just so that everybody else who's watching and already knows how to do it doesn't have to sit through me explaining it for a third time. Again, no offense. Happy to show you. And if you keep watching, you'll probably see me do it naturally. In fact, I might actually start to do it naturally now. First step is to get the trade treaty, which I can't do because we're in crisis. So I'll refuse that crisis demand. That will allow me to get a trade treaty if they accept it. They did. Now I can go into the trade menu and start to trade these luxuries. Buy. And we'll leave it there for now. Trade is super good. So actually, it's quite a good idea that you missed it first, second, and third time I described it, because it enabled me to actually do it myself. So, there we go. Everybody wins. 4X is a bot and I'm a lizard. Oh. That's the beauty of the YouTube live stream. If you miss something, it's also a video, so you can go back and watch it again. Absolutely fantastic. But also, to be fair, it can be hard to... If I haven't just described it, it's pretty hard to backtrack and find the exact moment. Although, actually, to play devil's advocate again, you just look at the live chat. Let's get fortifications, because if I want to use my militarist ability, then Home Guard will be useful, because our peasants will be stronger. Last Zulu, did that answer your question? I don't expect thank yous from you or anything, but if you could let me know if that made sense, that would be valuable to me, because part of what I do is to try and provide tips, and so it's always useful to know that I'm actually describing things in a way that people understand. Because obviously I understand it because I'm describing it, but I could be speaking a foreign language, for all I know, from your perspective. I'm also a battleship, but only on Wednesdays. They're not coming back, are they? Oh dear. Okay. Shush, do you want to grab more people? Question is, can you support more people? The answer is actually yes. What we might do though first is maybe place. No. Industry. Industry is everything. We don't need these tumultuous tumultuli. Instead, let's get some more industrial jobs. There's a whomper of 1, 2. Brilliant. Keep everybody on industry. In fact, we'll go expert policy and just make sure of it. Maybe science second here, just so that I don't fall too far behind. Oh, wicked. Fantastic. Thank you. Thanks for reporting back last. Appreciate it. And nice to hear that I'm helpful and not a hindrance as well, because I do always have that in the back of my mind. Put these units on the front line in this garrison that I handily prepared earlier. We'll just station them there. Are 2 units going to be enough to stop a tide of San Lorenzo madness? No. The Zapdos over here is also... actually has more population. How did that happen? I wonder if... what era are you in? Classical era. Okay, so we're actually almost at the exact same place in the game. I want to scare these 4 units out of here just because it makes me uncomfortable that they're here. So let's upgrade the warriors to swordsmen now that we have iron, and march this army down. All of them, not just the one. Try and scare off these losers. Stay on the river so that I don't have to cross it next turn.
With fire.
The min-maxing is real. The JumboPixel coup is happening right now in front of me. I'm not even on a break. Amazing. What's also amazing is 0710 Gus, who followed 8 minutes ago on Twitch. Thank you. I didn't hear the alert pop up. Apologies. I think they're working. I thought there was only one as well. And the fact that it's massively populated, Huck, makes me think that maybe... No, that can't be true, can it? I'm talking rubbish. There is no technology in this era that allows you to get all the infrastructure from previous eras. How did that city grow so fast? The tiles don't look amazing, although we don't have great visibility. We need to try and scout that out. I'm 1 above my city cap already. Just need to check that I've got... where are you? Small council. Yes. Okay. I've actually got all of my civics, which suggests to me that we're not very cultural. You uncultured swine! I probably need to focus on that. Okay. I also just want to quickly do a stability scan. 97%, 77%, 100%. So you should attach to a territory first. Right? Improve your iron. Get your walls. And then... whomp! Grab that. There's the expansionist star. Sorted. And really feeling a strong need to go back through and fill in all of this now. Let's shift people away from food if the excess food isn't helpful. We may as well be earning some money or science off them, I guess. Religious view is looking really weak as well. Oh, jeez, Rick. Oh, jeez. Okay. Place this down by this food. Emergency change of plans. Remember how I told all you cities you were doing other things? No, it's not going to happen. Instead, we're going to quickly get our holy site down. Because it matters. Gosh darn it, it matters. More iron for more science. Seems good. And, again, vital infrastructure. It's time to build it! It's time to build it. Also, a 21 industry maker's quarter. That puppy is being built first. First and foremost, you. 6 turns, but that's okay. We're building up food. Trying to build a bit of a base there in that crappy city. Might be a good idea, actually, to give it a brand new friend by means of this whomper of a territory, which is hopefully connecting a lot of food and crap along the way. Philosophy is, I think, the first technology also that adds an extra city cap. So, wham bam, thank you ma'am. Huge value there. Huck took the words right out of my mouth answering your question, Jack. Joe is, so long as you even have just 2 mountains in maybe every territory, or on average maybe every second territory, Joe will be a much better scientist culture for you. Unfortunately. The only thing to remember, though, is that with Joe, you don't have the scientist affinity ability. So you can't research through the next era like the Babylonians can, and you can't go on collective minds. So there is a little bit of a trade-off between Babylon and Joe. Joe is more specialized and not technically a scientist, but its science production will eclipse Babylon. I would actually go as far as to say in most cases. In most cases. Of course, if you're playing on a beach, then no. Okay. Ooh. Sheet. Where'd these sheet heads come from? Literally sheet. I love it. Let's destroy them. Get some Oh. Yeah, we'll get some military styles off them first, because we can do a training fight, 4v3, and then do an actual fight versus the old mad lad over there. I should connect gemstones, and that's it, just gemstones. So I should also probably move that way eventually. For now, homp, let's give the city that irks me an additional territory. Wonder if it's got enough to make that a 1. It doesn't. Let's just bounce through 2 turns. Bada bing, and bountiful for the food. Bada boom! Alright, holy site down. Maybe we can salvage this religion. Good morning, say it back. Good morning, Diggus Bickus! Oh my god, the narrator's saying like 5 things at once.
Every aspect of civilization.
I love it. Doesn't help that this moron's talking over top of them as well, eh?
Raiders on horseback.
Okay. We've met our next opponent, everybody. Strap in. Is it true that sheep outnumber people 10 to 1 in New Zealand? It used to be true, but it's not anymore. The New Zealand economy pivoted quite hard away from sheep and towards dairy 1 or 2 decades ago. And now I'm pretty sure it's like 8 cows per person or 6 cows per person instead. We shifted from one to the other. How do you fight? Yeah, that one's a little more difficult to just describe. If you've seen my YouTube channel, I do have a Humankind Guides playlist, and inside of that playlist, there are at least 3 guides that talk about combat and how to fight. I'd probably refer you to those, but also if you're watching the stream, you will see me fight, and I talk about what I'm doing as we go through. So, if you just want to chill out, have a live stream plan, hang out with me, hopefully we'll have a good time, and you might pick up a couple of useful gems as we go. That's the idea. Whether it's true or not, the data suggests maybe not. We'll see. I'm going to go back and chase these guys, but also chase these guys. I've got lots of options, so let's chase them down. Speaking of lots of options, actually, we have an extra army here who could chase down those 2 very easily. But I've separated them. Get back together, you morons! 2v2. Piece of piss. Let's do it. I probably don't even need to manually resolve, to be completely honest, but if we smash in with a whomper of a charge on the high ground here, don't forget this unit is heavy cavalry and suppression. The targeted unit can't move next turn, and it has reduced combat strength. So this puppy has just been nuked into the ground. It's entirely useless. And then I'm just going to stand on high ground and just hold, I think. Yeah, nice. Then what we'll do... Oh my god. That unit's just killing itself running at me, which is hilarious. And then we'll do the old tag team move. Charge this unit to weaken it. Finish it with the high ground warrior. Fantastic. These units will heal up for next turn where we're going to 6v4 these guys. And hopefully tidy them up as well. Working towards our valuable militarist stars. Playing a science game. What would be good science for the classical and medieval eras? If you want to play an actual scientist culture, you don't have options. You do not have options, Jack, I don't believe. Medieval era is really tough. The Umayyads are the scientist culture, but often it can be better to play someone like the Franks, or even just Khmer and use industry to build science. Or the Swahili and use gold to build science. I'd recommend that over playing the Umayyads in the medieval era. In the classical era for your science, the Greeks exist. I don't rate them particularly highly, but they're better than the scientist cultures in the era before them or after them. And what was that? Demetrian resubscribed for a month at tier 1. They've been subscribed for not 1, not 2, but 3 months. Amazing. Thank you, my friend. Super appreciate that. 3 months in a row. We're a third of the way towards a Twitch bubba. Alright. Trade expeditions. Or mounted warfare. I'm still going to need trade expeditions because somehow I don't actually have any of this iron connected yet. It's a bit of a mess. What's also a bit of a mess is Shush and its stability. Moreover, I maybe should think about saving up for another city. Also, I really want to get the Pyramids of Giza down. Hey! Here's the other city I was talking about. Get your backsides over there, you two! Quite frustrating that when you heal a unit, it pauses everybody. That's okay, though. Probably for the best, actually. So it's going to use 2 movement points to move through the forests. So we're going to end our turn here. So it's going to take 3 turns. I think those 2 units should be enough by themselves. Let's take the easy fight first. So, a couple of combat tips and tricks quickly off the top of my head. We want to keep our ranged units defended. So we want to put them on high ground at the back. And then we want to obviously try and keep our melee units, who are close combat, not like our ranged units, who take a combat penalty when defending against close combat attacks. It's important to note. And then we'll keep this charging unit back here, trying to protect these guys. We're pretty exposed on the flanks, but we've got first mover advantage, which is massive for us. We'll send this heavy charging unit, wha-bam, down that way. That'll freeze that cavalry in place as well, don't forget. And then what I'll do is... Okay, so what way can this unit run? It looks like it can go up here and along this river. So that's probably going to be the way it's going to move. In which case, I'm going to move to block this ground. High ground is also super important, right? So I'm going to move to block the high ground and ensure that if the horse does run at these units, it's going to be on a low ground tile. The other thing we'll do, another one of my go-to tricks that I like to do... Actually, maybe we... no, we'll keep you back here. Yeah, I'm going to break the mold a little bit, actually, and send it here. Just so that I can get an extra attack on that unit. Why? Because damaged units deal slightly less damage. So, by sprinkling a bit of damage around with my archers, I've ensured that when we get attacked, we won't take as much of a hit. Looks like the chariots aren't going to try and flank around. No point in them doing it. Probably uses up too much of their movement as well. This makes it much easier for me, of course. Because I can just rain down fire. In fact, they might not even be able to scale there. I can't quite even see it. Let's head toward the flag, because we'll need to capture that next round if we want to win. Okay, they did choose to move there. They're going to die as a result, so... Not the end of the world! Our super powerful charging unit will destroy the undefended ranged unit, and then our swordsman will wrap it up. Wham! Bam! A thank you, a ma'am. Arachnid Dork! Just in time to see the militarist culture with an awkward resource-heavy unit in an underwhelming district. You did change cultures from the ancient era, right? You'd be forgiven for thinking I didn't, wouldn't you? There are some striking similarities between the Hittites and the Goths. I'm speaking hyperbole when I say this. Please don't take any offense if you like these cultures or you've played them a lot. They do have some strengths. But really, it's kind of a copy and paste job, isn't it? Copy and paste, tweak a couple of numbers. Yes, Goths. I'm joking, of course. Okay. Not time for us to choose yet, but it is important for me probably to just quickly show you our 2 options. The 2 cultures that we've deemed to be the worst in this era. First up, it's the Byzantines, who are probably just the worst. +5 money per alliance. Alliances are hard to come by, particularly if you've only played militarist cultures the whole game and annoyed your neighbours. Their unique district gets +5 money per horses. Okay. I'm already getting +5 food per horses from an industry from the very first era. Bear that in mind when you're thinking about how strong they are. +25 money per adjacent horses. This is kind of the Dutch phenomenon, really, isn't it? You have a great adjacency money bonus, but it's difficult to do it right. And unless you've been planning around it the whole time, spoiler alert, it's not worth planning around 25 gold, you're probably not going to get value from it. Therefore, not a great district. Let's have a look at their unit, though. Is it their saving grace? Maybe, actually. It could be the only thing that they have that is reasonable. It only requires 1 iron, and it's unlocked at heavy infantry. The question is, do I have the science required to get me to heavy infantry very quickly? No. No, it's after war summons. And usually you'd go for feudalism first, so that your new cities are more powerful. Maybe even theology for the city cap, but definitely you're probably grabbing those two. Makes it not terrible, not brilliant. Placed in the middle of the era. Luckily it only requires 1 iron. Either way, they're a garbage culture, probably the worst in the era, that's why we've put them there. The other option that we've put in, definitely not Swahili, are the Umayyads. They're a scientist culture. I put them in on the condition that I won't use collective minds. If we remove collective minds from the Umayyads, they actually look quite similar. +5% science per alliance instead of gold. Better, sure. The Haras, arguably better. It's a ranged unit. The Grand Mosque is a better district, though, without a doubt. And that leads me to believe that the Byzantines are super weak. Other honourable mentions go to the Mongols, sometimes. Not the Norse. And maybe also the Aztecs sometimes, although I think they're actually maybe 1 tier level stronger than what the average person rates them as. I'm not saying they're great, but they're actually not terrible. And their unit is one of the best ones, because it has no resource cost and no combat strength penalty from being damaged. Super good Berserker replacement for you. And very cheap. Anyway, it looks to me it's the Byzantines next, right? Let me just quickly check the Twitch poll, just to check how the Twitchers felt. Medieval worst. It was a no-brainer. 100% of voters on Twitch chose the Byzantines. And at the time of posting the poll, it was actually nearly everybody in chat who voted. Over on the YouTube side of things, firstly, welcome to the 67 people who are watching. Thanks so much! And to the 35 who liked the video. Hey, so many people have tuned in since I last looked at that number. I've been trying not to look at the numbers because often it's easier to see the bad in them when really they're awesome. Is this Civ 6? No. Just go website. It's 6 a.m. in Japan and my dogs and I are up watching. Hey, Subodana, life is good! And hey to you too, Franklin. Oh, that's awesome. 6 a.m. in Japan. Just waking up. Hopefully it's a beautiful morning. Although it will be the Japanese winter, won't it? So, chances are it's a fresh, beautiful morning, unless you're living in beautiful southern Japan. Assuming you're living in Japan. Of course, I'm making sweeping assumptions here about your life and assuming that the things that I remember are factual still. Sorry. Okay, the city's got 1 person in it. Still looks tasty to me. Let's hoon over and just grab it, I reckon. Yalla Alego. Let's go! I don't even know if that was a good pun. We'll stand back from the wall because, of course, my mounted unit can't climb the walls. So we'll try and bait these bad boys out. They've got anti-cavalry versus my cavalry. Man, it's almost as if they planned this around me. On the bright side, my cavalry is an absolute beast. So let's seek and destroy. And hopefully we've got enough strength to do it. If we don't, we do have 4 units waiting in the wings who can come over here and finish the job. Oh my god. Looks like they're going to need to as well. Hold the flag! Hold the flag, you brave boy! We got reinforcements who I could send over, but also I kind of want to fight these guys. I'm going to fight these guys. Any healers? Oh, weird. Why can I not heal there? Oh, right. I've wasted so much money and influence on Avaris. Oh my god. I have to just fight them, don't I? I think we have to just fight them. There's no super easy way around this. Hattusa is getting a little bit full on people. But to be fair, actually, it's still got a long way to go. So I'll just keep building districts and trying to make the most of this, I think. We could get a fun little Goth district down as well. Why not? Sure. Any quick units who would like to be spammed out here? No. But I wonder if stone walls would be a good upgrade for my militia. It could very well be. Let's get this, because I guess it's my strongest unique. We'll get the Giga. Hold the flag! Elephants are always better. We live in Tokyo. Oh, fantastic. Japan is one of the only countries I've been to outside of New Zealand. I'm not very well travelled. But I was lucky enough to go to Japan a long time ago. And Tokyo's awesome. That was all I was going to say. Sorry, that was literally it. What the huck is going on here? Okay, we're holding that flag. And scaring off these units. Get out of here, chump. Thankfully they can't run far enough, and we're going to intercept with these two. Hopefully reinforce with these four. Tidy this mess up. Then get over here and tidy this up. We might lose that warrior in the process, but I mean, who cares? Okay. End deployment. Reinforce like there's no tomorrow. Let's just block them. Go for the flank move on this charging unit. That will, don't forget, ensure that that unit can't move anywhere anytime soon. We'll chuck the archer up on high ground. And slightly less high ground. And try and just throw everything we've got, yes, at that unit. That will clear the way for this charging lunatic to surge in here. And then I think turn this way to again stop this unit from moving or attacking next turn, right? Trying to use our promotions to our advantage, although it looks like it doesn't matter because I have enough strength here to finish it off. What a fantastic fight! Holy moly! Everybody can maybe get a little bit of value out of that strike. Nice. Practice their bow shooting and that kind of thing. Hey, Terentius is here as well. Hey, friend. Oh my god, it's so cool to see everybody! I was worried that nobody was going to tune in today, actually. I thought I might just be talking to myself. I'm not sure why. I just have this uncertainty lingering over me and I can't shake it. So thanks for smashing the glass ceiling today, everybody. Appreciated. Do I want to spend 80 bucks for 15 food? I could run the numbers on it. I think it's a fairly okay trade. We don't want -1 population for 15 food, and I don't actually know if I can even handle the -5 stability, but we'll grab it because it's it's cheaper than 80 gold. Because 80 gold can be used to provide stability? Question mark? I don't know. I think we should get the pyramids next as well. Let's just queue them for future. Smash them next to Avaris. Actually, stuff it, dude. Let's get the pyramids done as well. 5 quick turns of defending the flag. No. 5 quick turns of cleaning up the units within our territories and focusing on our next move. There probably needs to be another war move, especially because I'm playing with, I mean, the title says it all. The worst cultures. Especially because I'm playing with the worst cultures, I think. Okay. Let's move towards this city which has nobody in it. Actually, probably don't need to send 4 units that way, do I? We'll send the 2 units that way. We really would love to get the crossbow upgrade sometime soon. I wonder if we ditch the Goth area... If we ditch the Goth era a little prematurely, not yet, but soon, and maybe grab the Byzantines. Hey, just give me 1 second. I've just got to quickly adjust some settings. Won't be a minute. Thanks for bearing with. Do I play Civ 6? Yes, I do. Not as often as Humankind, but I absolutely do. I also really enjoy making videos for Civ 6 because it's so well established. It has a really well established meta. Unfortunately, what that means is that sometimes content around it can be a bit repetitive, though. Right? It's sort of a double-edged blade. It's fantastic and super fun, and I'll keep playing it until Civ 7 comes out, absolutely. I'll also keep playing Civ 5, too. Probably even longer still. So yeah, that's kind of my experience with Civ 6. Fame check, absolutely, Nikita, I can do that. Been working on the car, helping us through some rough times. Yeah, I agree. Massive bro move. Massive bro move. Hey! Odlotoa! How you doing? Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for liking the video. I won't ask again, but I do appreciate it. And I might ask again. Hey, Unite tuned in. I love that first time chat, by the way. That's awesome. So it was just a face, just my goth face. Stop it. Yeah, it's just my goth face. Fame check. We're in first. You can always tell, just as a reminder, in case you haven't heard me say this a million times already, by the border. If you're in first, second, or third, it'll be gold, silver, or bronze up here in the top right. So you can see that we're in first because we have a gold border. Doing quite well, all things considered. Scientist stars and hydrology done. We will ditch the goth a little early, but I think it's probably too early now. Might try and get just a couple more gold stars. I really like this aesthete star too. But my stability's gonna hamper that, isn't it? Maybe in that case, we get this city building a... Where even is the city boundary? It is that territory as well. Okay, good. So if we can get Urkas, whatever it's called, building a holy site, I guess like there. Fill out the food jobs, do the industry, keep the animal barns first, and maybe not the industry on river, actually. We might just then go, whabam, thank you, holy site. Then go through and grab an industrial district. Nice! And these two mad lads are going to firstly upgrade the Geiger into a freaking Gothic cavalry. Jeez, it's like the same unit. But without the suppressive ability, which is a shame. And in its place we get, arguably, at least for me, a less useful Ransacker. Bonus combat strength when fighting on enemy districts. Difficult to do when you're a horse and you can't climb walls. Right? There's a bit of a weird thing going on there. Oh, Unite! Thank you for following. Follower number 787. That's quite nice, isn't it? I know it's got a couple of sevens in it, but quite nice. Love the in-game soundtracks as well. So true. They are great. 4X Gamer's been playing an Olmec Transcend game and they're strong. What difficulty? I wonder. Out of curiosity. Not that... I'm not a difficulty snob, by the way. I have no issue whatever difficulty you want to play on. But it is just good to put it into context, right? Because I reckon I could probably play as just a Neolithic tribe and win the game if I was playing on the lowest difficulty. Although I've never actually played on the lowest difficulty. So maybe there's a fun meme stream at some point in future on that as well. I don't know. Either way, I've just... Okay, we just walked in and took it. They were like, yeah, sure, go for it. Yeah, I mean, we don't need it. I don't know if I really need it either. I'm going to send these 2 units down this way to chop a tree. It's too late to chop the pyramids, but what we'll try and do is chop the holy site or the infrastructure next. I don't really mind either way. Being one over the city cap's going to hurt my influence earning ability. And I think I would rather build my own new city when we move through to the next era, rather than hold on to this crappy one this era, which is hindering my influence. It's going to take way too long to bring it up to speed. On the bright side, Pyramids of Giza have been finished. And, oh my god. Wow, the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus hasn't been taken yet. Lucky. I mean, who takes these before taking this? I don't know. I don't know. Although it is worth noting, this wonder is nowhere near as good as it was in the first sort of month or two of Humankind's release. So, any Humankind OGs will know what I'm talking about. Did they change the war system yet? But it depends on what time frame you're talking about. If you mean in the last week, no. If you mean in the last few patches, last month's patch and the patch before, then yes, it has had small changes, but I doubt that it's had the change that you're maybe inferring in your comment. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I imagine you're probably talking about the big changes that they've teased, rather than smaller changes to units and UIs and overlays to make fighting a bit easier. I think you're probably referring to war score, eh? Rather than the entire system. Any technologies? If I want feudalism and war summons, I want imperial power. So I think we just say, see you later, everybody. Try and grab imperial power. Could grab this territory for its resource potential. I think we've got plenty of time to do that. No urgent need right now. Leventa is suffering on its stability, like there's no tomorrow. Realistically, it probably wants walls online quite quickly as well. Let's not forget it is literally right next door to an enemy capital. It's in such a dumb spot. I mean, I did it to myself. I'm not complaining. 14 industry. Or that. Actually, that's not terrible. Yeah, let's do this kind of move. And, crucially, try and get some more trade. Now, they'll have a demand against me. Ooh. I might not refuse that because they're at max war support. Let me introduce myself to W177 Reaper. A new AI to meet. Huck, you read my mind. And the stupid thing is I introduced them like 10 turns ago and then just forgot to actually shake their hand. You know, like I saw them. We made eye contact and then I just walked away. But now I'm coming back, I'm shaking their hand. Hey, W177, what do you do best? You're an engineer, which is super overpowered, 10 extra industry on Maker's Quarters, and you're an expansionist. Interesting. That's one that I don't actually see very often. Your biases are you're an Avenger and you're luxurious. 2 good biases, and you are an open, vindictive character. Okay. Let's trade. Come on, Chief. Bring it in. Yeah, brilliant. Silver will give me science. Might grab one of those first, and then we'll bounce back and grab all the coffee and tea, and hopefully fill our people up with glee. I'm going to chop this to speed up the infrastructure that Hattusa is, let's be honest, very quickly falling behind on. And old mate over here I thought he instantly took issue with me. He did not. Huns in the classical era versus Goths in the classical era. So we're both kind of like fighty people. But we might have enough water between us that we don't mind. Your empire looks quite large. Oh, I would hate for them to start stealing some of this land. Might be time to get a sort of a quote-unquote scout out there. +1 science per trade route. Thank you!
In that wide world that the elders never even thought of.
All those of honest intent may have my ear.
Why can't I buy this? 420 bucks! Woo! That's an expensive cup of coffee. Yikes. Oh, I reckon you'll still enjoy the real-world map regardless, Ramon. Although, yeah, Huck is right. Event ended last week. Although, somebody mentioned in chat yesterday that the counter for the event stars is still ticking up. I don't know if that will actually... Like, that, it could just be a leftover thing on their website. And I haven't checked it myself. So I don't actually know if that's true or not. But at the very least, I'm told there is a counter that is still counting those stars. Not that it's been promised to have any impact for us. We made it to the second goal out of 3 in the lunar event. If you're not familiar, we had to play the 3 Chinese cultures in this game and earn as many Stera stars as we could. If we earned, I think it might have been 1 million or something as a community, we'd unlock a new persona. We didn't make it, but we did get some of the booby prizes, the 2nd and 3rd place. They're actually good prizes, probably. Okay. Extra stability on sus and another narrative event, but I think I actually prefer the reinforcement because often, not always, but often this can give you a really good unit. What did we get? Well, I did say I wanted a scout, so here's my scout. Nice. Oh, feels bad. Okay, anyway. Oh, poop, I forgot about that. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Nothing to worry about. Any other foresty forests to chop? No, none that I want to anyway. So let me just get up on that river. Get up on it. And you know what? Hattusa, if it's on full stability, which it is, I should probably spend 567 influence to give it more people. This has only got 1 person. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. And then I'll work on that infrastructure to try and just, as I say, slowly lift this bad boy up. And the neighbour who I spent so much money trying to impress, classic keeping up with the Joneses type of stuff going on here. I'm just gonna destroy them for military stars. The really hilarious thing is, I've already got them. Oh my god, they did. Look at that. Combat strength. Huh? Oh, I see. I see. Thankfully, the AI doesn't block spawns. One thing, by the way, if you haven't done this before, Boeing 787. I was thinking the exact same thing. Oh, Mecha. You can block spawns if you move on top of these. The AI never does it. It's always a really good thing to do, though, and you should probably always do it. Either way, let's give this Gothic cavalry a run for its money. Obviously, it's not going to do so well with the units who are behind walls, but anybody who ain't is in a world of pain. They're likely going to rush for this flag like there's no tomorrow. I really should have probably put the archer behind the walls. I regret that move. Any other moves that I'm going to regret here? Nah. Let's just tag team that guy, and we can... The next largest threat, which is going to be that horse, because that thing's going to run over to there, I'd say. And then all of these units will probably try and move out and fight me, right? Probably. Let's see. I've got 1 warrior who has done nothing. There you go, chief. Yep, as expected. They'll run for the flag to try and secure it, because that's their victory condition. Of course, they won't be able to because they have a line of archers and this unit just ready to destroy and take names. Brilliant. You stab there. You stab there. Ooh, cavalry charge. Cavalry charge! Go the Goths! Finding value where there is very little is the aim of this game, right? It's all about trying to extract value out of what we have. Which is either generically good things, or, in this case, strangely, the old Gothic cavalry. What changes do I want to see in Humankind? Huge question, hey Joshua. Deep sea mod and naval mod are awesome. Thank you for showing them. Yeah, they are. Very cool. And like most 4X games, you know, the Navy can always use more love. The ocean is ignored a lot in 4X games. Or at least maybe not shown as much attention as it could have. I don't know. One thing I could definitely see them improving on is bringing that in. A couple of other things off the top of my head. Systems that other 4X games have that Humankind doesn't. I'd like to see some sort of World Congress in the later game, where big geopolitical decisions are made, and they're difficult decisions. And you can interact with players in a way that isn't just trading or declaring war, right? There's something to be done there that isn't being done. The other thing that I'd like to see them build on, it's something they already do better than maybe any 4X, I don't know, is the beautiful world. The world looks fantastic. The layering options that are available, the features that are available, the cliffs, the way it interacts with combat, it's all really good. Maybe we can build on that. I don't know. It'd be cool if there were volcanoes that erupted. Natural disasters, right? Loads of things that could be added to add a little bit more depth and complexity to the game. Maybe also a little bit more randomness, because even though it can be frustrating as a player to deal with randomness, it can help make the game a lot more spicy. What do you want to see? Is there a good DLC or mod for Humankind? Oh yeah, we're just talking about the deep sea mod, the naval mod. Those are fantastic. If you're after more simple improvements, you could add, say, the natural wonders mod, which doesn't really change much, it just makes wonders better. And then there are a series of other really specific, fantastic ones. The overall balance mod patch is worth a look if you'd like. The Avatar The Last Airbender mods are some of my favorites, particularly the Neolithic era one. Any other suggestions in chat? Anything that I'm forgetting? There probably is. Yeah, it's a weird old world out there, eh? Incredibly uncertain times. Take care wherever you are. Take care of yourself, everybody, I think. And be happy. If you can. But yeah, Trentius, you're right. Tricky time. Oh, no need to apologize for arriving late, Tim. People flow in and out of the stream throughout the entire time. You're, actually very normal. No apologies needed. Heal up these units, my only standing army. Check the fame score! We'll stay a bit longer in this crappy era. We'll stay a bit longer. I must have enough money to buy some coffee, surely. Okay, let's have a look. So coffee provides 1 food per farmer per coffee. Tea provides, on all cities, 2% food per tea. I'm going to end up with them both anyway. Any stability differences? No. Net impact, relatively low. I do like my farmers. I also like percentage multipliers. They tend to scale better. I'll grab some tea, then we'll grab some coffee, then we'll grab some tea, then we'll grab some coffee. We'll bounce between them. Although really, if I was keeping on brand, I should have just grabbed the coffee and ran for it, shouldn't I? So, maybe I ruined that. Let's place the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus so that we can get a little bit of extra industry. It actually doesn't matter, but we should place it down in a city that has lots of districts or is struggling. Which kind of means the capital, or La Venta. It's going to be La Venta. And we just have to hope that we don't lose this bad boy. And is the gang all here? Not Hattusa, not the capital, but all the other crappy little cities are going to jump on board and help Leventa finish this. Sorry, crappy little cities. It's nothing personal. It's just good business. Hey, speaking of, these cities need some names. Who have I got on my name list today? Let me just have a look at the stream software. Demetrian, you are the one and only. Thank you very much for subscribing 35 minutes ago on Twitch. I guess that means you get the capital. I don't know if you're happy about that or not. But thank you very much for supporting me. Yeah. Maybe this is a good city for you. Maybe it's terrible. I don't know. I'm just going to say nothing about the Civic because it just gets me in trouble and Jumbo out of context. So we'll just swiftly move along and know that I can't afford slaves, so they don't matter. And just keep healing up those guys. Noish. Quickly hoon along here now and grab these, just in case old mate over here with the coffee and the tea gets any crazy ideas. Wow, yeah, loads of protest activity. Actually, we also have protestors in New Zealand at the moment for the first time during this crazy time. We love you, Pixel. I love you more, Josh. I actually do. Oh, Rude Irish Knight asking the real questions. Yeah, we've got protests as well. Not as significant as the Canadian ones, but same kind of deal. Loads of people standing outside Parliament at the moment, camped out, fighting with police. It's just it's unsettled times, isn't it? And again, I reiterate, take care of yourself during difficult times, because it can be quite overwhelming, particularly if you're, you know, facing stuff every day. It adds up. So just take care of yourself. All right. Oh, yeah. The good part about reclaiming these is if we do it in the same spot, loads of negative stability multipliers at play. But if we turn this into a city next era, all of these districts will be... Actually, we could even just get away with attaching it. But if we turn this into a city next era, which we might like to do, we could have a little coastal one, right? All of these districts will be re-established and reconnected, and we'll get a whole load of Makers' Quarters back online. So, if I can combine that with the beauty that is feudalism and the colony model, we can potentially get a real powerhouse of a city here. So I'm just going to hold that place. And send these units to what might very well be the front line of Leventa sometime soon. Ooh. Oh. Why you do this? Why? Oh, jeez. My stability is too low. I have to revoke. Unfortunately. Not ideal. Not ideal. Might put the City Watch to the front of the queue. Try and eke a little bit of extra stability out of here. We do, of course, actually, though, more importantly, have the Mausoleum Helicarnassus, which is going to be our saving grace. So let's get that first. Scientist star earned. Nice. Not sure how, but love it. And, hey look, an 828 or a 730. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Espionage, please. Yeah, another one. Another one. Another great system. That would be really fantastic. Did I say it out loud, or did I only think it Arachnidork? Because it was actually the third thing that I was going to say. I was going to say my first two, the World Congress, my second one, and then Espionage. Seems like another one. You're so right. Ooh. Okay. We're looking good. We're winning by the gold border, don't forget. Which is nice. Humankind difficulty playing the worst cultures, and we're managing to win. So far, so good. What concerns me is the two unknowns still. And potentially the size of this empire. Although, they could be looking across and thinking the same thing about mine, right? And then I'm guessing there are 2 more players in here. Which maybe means that they don't have a lot of space to themselves. Maybe. Looks like actually a fairly even map though, huh? A fairly even. If not, maybe slightly in our favour on this island. Assuming that there's only 2 of us here. And 3 people on the other one. But I just really do not know. If we're going to fight in future, siege tactics is kind of always useful for the +1 unit slot available for each army. However, there are some useful upgrades back there, but I think I'll grab that. And I'm very quickly, my team, just going to go for a quick break. I'm going to grab myself a cup of coffee. When I say grab a cup of coffee, of course I mean put some instant coffee in a mug and slam it in the microwave for 30 seconds. I will see you in a minute. Thanks so much for hanging out with me so far today, the 80 of you who are watching live. And of course, to everybody who liked the video. He said he wasn't going to say it, but he did. I will be right back. Hey, I'm back. I'm not researching anything. I'm researching siege tactics. The game won't let you end a turn if you're not researching anything, so you're pretty safe. You're pretty safe usually. Let's zoom down here and Okay, change of plans. We've found 4 units that could provide me with some combat stars. So let's upgrade the Scout Rider to a Horseman. Sure. And try and get these other 2 over. Why is it not... the Scout upgrade line is not the same as the Heavy Cavalry upgrade line, of course. Kind of a little disappointing, but it is what it is. So these units didn't move north, so they must have gone in here. But they can't, because that's a dead end. So... so they'll be on one of these tiles. I don't want to move after them, though, because I think I'm too weak by myself. Maybe. But these 2 are strong! Sounds like the Celts have just appeared in-game. I hear the narrator say, "The Celts." I will just bounce back and grab this, get that established. The whole coastline, except for this rather important northern territory, by the looks, is mine. Sus is starving. Yeet someone out of there to finish that. Why not? Yeet a couple of people out of there to finish that. Why not? Let's get food like there's no tomorrow. Food infrastructure aplenty. And industry jobs might also be a reasonable idea. Or perhaps science. Ooh. Ooh. Ew. That is ugly. Public Fountain provides 15. It's maybe slightly better than the garrison, even though our garrisons are buffed. Which is pretty odd, but I guess it makes sense. What I'm going to quickly do here is produce 2 Gothic cavalries. And they can, like, chop some trees or something to surge some industry. If we need to speed up, get that online. And oh my god, we've just met 2 more opponents! Amazing. Try and bring it up an era or two. I really should, because I enjoy coffee, but I just don't have the resource, really, or the motivation to do it better. But I should at least try it. You're right, Joe. I should at least try it. Who's using the gun as their emblem? Usually your emblem. I'm gonna get a solar calendar and let's have a look. Okay, so first and foremost, we have the Mayans. It's KM6, who looks like Walter White. Nowhere near as youthful as I look. Look at that. Interesting, isn't it? Either way, let's introduce ourselves to the Mayans. Hey, you want a trade? Yeah. 1T. Alrighty. Okay, so clearly this player is not doing so hot. We also have the Celts, who are Laser Bean. 1903. There you go, Laser Bean. They have no resources, but they're aggressive. Because we're less powerful than them. And that another empire is attacking them. It'd be quite useful to see where they are. Wonder if they'll share maps with me. I doubt that very much. Might go for the trade luxuries. That way we'll at least get a slight look in. Okay, so they've got all the silk and the salt. Oh, wow. The Celts are quite good, aren't they? Yeah. Are they in second? Ah, interesting. They're in third. But they've made more progress than the player in second this era by a little bit. They could be surging upwards. Joshua asks in chat what I think of Dune Spice Wars. If I think it'll turn out okay and what I'm hoping from it. Yeah, I mean, I think it will. I mean, it's super early to say, of course. We haven't even been able to play it. We've only kind of seen what they've wanted to show us. So we have to keep that in mind, of course. But from what I've looked at, and from I think I've made 2 videos on it. The first one when they kind of like first announced it, and then more recently I made one last week where they showed us all that new gameplay. And both times, in general, my feedback has kind of been the same. This looks good. What do I want from it? I just want it to be a 4X game that performs well and is enjoyable. Really, that's it. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, like that's super vague. What does that even mean? Like, give me a real answer, Jumbo. But that genuinely is the real answer. I'm not too picky about certain mechanics that I must have or mustn't have. I'm not that kind of player. I prefer to try and understand their vision for the game rather than implant my own on top of it if I can help myself, but sometimes I'm bad at that. Yeah. I'm excited for it. It is a sci-fi 4X game, and one thing that I should note is that I'm not like a super diehard Dune fan. So actually that's another interesting point. I'm not approaching it like, yeah, I love Dune! I'm approaching it from, yeah, I love good strategy games. Another thing to bear in mind. My opinion of it might be really different to yours. If you're like, I love Dune, I've read all the books since the 60s and blah, blah, blah. Whereas my perspective will be much more so, is this a good strategy game and how does this compare to others? As opposed to how well do they capture the lore of the world or what have you. This city is going to be kind of a gold and science powerhouse, I predict. I predict great things. So we'll see how that plays out. Time to move. Please tell me it's time to move. Wow. No, we should get 3 districts and ideally 1,500 influence. But that's just too slow, eh? It's way too slow. Why is that so slow? Like, oh my god, that's so slow. That can produce me influence, but really it's stability that is my weak spot. So let's go public fountain. Yeah, and trade. Trade is going to be the other thing that will hopefully lift my stability up. as well. Here as well, really weak stability. I need it for my influence generation. I don't actually think that this district is even good enough to warrant building if it's going to take out 5 industry and a food. I'm not trading 5 industry for 9 faith, I don't think. But if I can smash it out here and build around it later, that's probably fine. So we'll do that. And we'll do that. We won't get rid of 3 people to do that. We'll chop down some forests, though. Laventa. Again, I think stability's too much of an issue here that I have to, unfortunately, enact that. Losing control of my civic once more. Octo, welcome in. Tuning in toward the later half of the stream. I won't make an Amazon wish. That just makes me uncomfortable. I do not like asking for stuff like that. Really uncomfortable. Like I'm like curling over just thinking about making an Amazon wish list. Who do I think I am? Not that I have any against anybody else doing it, by the way. I want to make that really clear. I have no issue with anybody setting up Amazon wish lists. It's just not something that I feel personally comfortable doing. What are these units feeling comfortable doing? Ooh! Okay, I mean, there's a great lighthouse hidden here in San Lorenzo. And we have superior combat strength. I think we'll probably war next era. What did you just find? Nice little bit of science there. I'll allow it. Okay, what I'm going to do is just pass a couple more turns, just to get a couple more things done, and then we'll go regardless, I think. The capital stretches out all the way up to La Zapdos, so I might get some vision on the La Zapdosi border as well. It's potentially a real weak spot for us. Have I heard of Song of Conquest or Zephon? I haven't heard of Zephon, Joshua, no. I have heard of Song of Conquest, though. I think I might have signed up to an email list or something, because I can remember reading it in my emails. Headed to sleep thanks to the great somewhat early stream, Jumbo. My precious King of Toto! Catch a good amount of it and still get to sleep at a reasonable hour. Yeah. Totally. Have a good sleep, my friend. And thanks so much for tuning in. You're a founder and 3-month subscriber, and I appreciate it. All day, baby. Okay. Religious minorities. Can't afford it. Don't want to afford it. Hopefully don't need to afford it. Ooh. Oh. Kinda do. Kinda do. Five people for 1 turn. Terrible trade-off. Food, we're starting to hemorrhage here as well. So I might go, actually, you can have some food stuff first. Just squeeze that in for poor Urks. Grab the gem and harbour. And grab a harbour here as well. At the very least, providing food to these outposts to help them grow. Also, though, and maybe more importantly, bit of visibility over the ocean. I don't trust the ocean. Never have, never will.
So tell
Time
me,
to trade.
how are you today?
Apparently, apparently not.
Welcome.
How about you?
Speak honestly with each other.
Could buy their sage, but not their silk. Their silk will give me 2 industry per silk on Maker's Quarter. That's the one that I want. 468. Or do I want to just grab some salt?
You dare to come before
It should be cheaper to trade with them, but I'm gonna refuse their demand.
I cannot agree to this anemic proposal.
Did they? I'm gonna refuse their demand. Oh my, now they want me to give them sheep.
Very well.
I've got some sheep you can have. Does it support you better to watch here on Twitch or on YouTube?
Unless you pay us.
Bunker, both. Yeah. Whatever's easiest for you, Major King Kong, is totally fine with me. Whatever's easiest for you. It doesn't actually make much of a difference. You could argue that I would like the number of viewers on Twitch to be equal to the number on YouTube, because I'd quite like to one day qualify for Twitch Partnership, which requires 75, an average of 75 viewers. So there's that. But really, whatever's easiest for you is easiest for me. I do it to try and make the stream more accessible, not because it necessarily gives me a better option for support.
I'm here to help. Get to know.
Oh, Artsum, hey! Lurking on the side while playing your own campaign is a relatively common thing, and you're not the only person to be doing that right now. Next era, we're moving through to the Byzantine. 72% of YouTube voters have agreed with me, which makes me feel fairly confident that we've made the right call. Which is, of course, hilariously, the wrong call. Let's lock down for the stability. Stability's the biggest issue for me right now. Lock him down! Lock him down and build him some Gareth Sons, I think. Yeah. Lovely. Only that technology left as it turns to move through. No. No? Yes. No. I think the answer is still no. Try and get the silver aesthete and then we'll move. I think maybe waiting for the gold might be too long. Although, we've got 300 turns max and we're... Ooh. Uh-oh. I don't like... Those elephants terrify me. They're so powerful. Let's get that silk online. Start to add extra industry to my industrial quarters. I think I'll almost exclusively try and do that with my money. Grab the 18-9, because I can do it this turn instead of next turn. The other one would have required me to move 2 turns. I'm too impatient for that. Get the tumultuous down. We could get a little bit of flood irrigation first. What's a bit of flood irrigation between friends? Maybe also the extra stability. And I think another food district. Yes. Yes. If you've been with me for the whole stream so far, you'll note that this city was a powerhouse. San Lorenzo has just completely overtaken it now. Not even close. They are producing 34 strength pikemen. They would love to fight my Gothic cavalry, and to be honest, my swordsmen too, let's be real. They are not so hot. Might get you lads chopping some trees. Can't help but think that we grabbed that just in the nick of time.
The vast and glorious temple city of Angkor Wat has been built. With luck, you'll get a postcard.
And here's a relatively weak, but army of 3. So they can chop trees 1 turn faster. Brilliant. Yeah, I'll enact that. That's actually taken it back the way that I'd like to have it, so that's kind of a win. Food and industrial infrastructure plus stability infrastructure. Let's get that first. Byzantium's a nice warrior culture. Their unit is their saving grace. It's not a great unit. Like, I mean, it's average. Average compared to strength with the rest. It's not terrible, it's not great. Unlocked in the middle of the era. Fairly low resource requirements. Not as low as the Aztecs, but fairly low. I think it's their strongest thing, and that's saying a lot. If your strongest thing's your unit, which becomes redundant, is only unlocked halfway through the era, and you might not even be able to build it at all, depending on what resources you have access to, that generally suggests to me that the culture's maybe not so hot. Maybe not so hot. Again, not to say that a good unit can't carry a war, because it can. But if it's your only selling point... I don't know. Okay. I'm going to remove this forest too. Who needs it? Who needs it? And you know what? Same logic applies up here. Let's just deforest like there's no tomorrow. Actually, deforesting in this outpost is sort of a bit irrelevant though, so maybe Sus wants to grab that. Sus can't really grab it just yet though, because its stability is still uncomfortably low. Any chance Common Squad not providing me any stability at all. Garrison providing me with a little bit. Sure. Get rid of one population to finish the granary this turn. No real need. But I will go for more of a stability focus. And don't forget, we're using our money, heading over to our best friend Laser Boon, and trying to trade the silk off of them as quickly as we can. Why can I not buy that? Is it too expensive? 640 bucks. How much is this going to cost me? It's actually half price. At less than half price, I might value the extra food and stability more than waiting for the silk. So,
independent people.
Again,
And who are they?
could be right, could be wrong.
Time will tell if they are helpful.
I think it's a pretty good move. Might jump over and grab that island as well, seeing as we're a little bit busy. Maybe don't want to go and get that one because it's surrounded by... What the heck are you doing?
Welcome. Let us speak
If the Aztecs fight me, I'm going to be royally mad. So maybe we should move through to the next era. That might put them off. I've got the stars that I broadly want to have. If it can delay a war, I'd happily forego a bit. I don't know. Okay, we're doing it. Let's do it. You voted for it, so I will deliver. Welcome to the Byzantines in the medieval era. Woof.
Wisdom and technical innovation from earlier speaking.
The unit can be researched right away if you go for it. We've already looked it up. It can't, actually. It's past war summons, so it's in the middle tranche of techs. Here's your first tranche. Here's the middle tranche. Here's the last tranche. Yeah, we did cover this at the start of the stream, so I won't dwell on it too much. But there is their unit. Look at it in all of its glory. 2 extra combat strength than a knight. Prevents its army from retreating. Yeah. That's kind of a negative. Broadly, that's a negative thing as well. Pays to keep that in mind too. Again, if it's your favourite unit, I don't mean any personal offence by it. Please don't take offence. If I'm talking bad about your favourite culture, I don't mean to. Well, I do, but I don't mean it to be offensive. It's more accurate, actually. Okay, I don't want to chop down any really good forests, so all of these forests are kind of Greenpeace protected, so we'll leave them be. We could wander down this way and fight these people, right? Okay, now we're playing as the Byzantines. And we can actually get one of their districts built next to horses. Amazing. Amazing! The rest of them are just sort of market quarters with a, at the most, maybe a 50% bonus, which is nice. Nothing to write home about, but pretty nice. We're a money culture. We get fame from making money. So I'm going to just double down and build all of these hippodromes. Great. Sus, you do suspiciously look like you could use some more infrastructure really before we go down the hippo route. However, here is another horse tile with, coincidentally, a spot free. So, sure, why not? No more horse styles free? That's okay. We'll queue up the rest of the districts and get the Goldie infrastructure and the stability infrastructure. And this city is going to take literally 1,000,000 years to get it done. If you could change the Goths, what buffs or mechanic would I give them? Oh, that's a really good question, Joshua. And super broad. It would be their district that would need to change, probably. Their unit is okay. I'd probably remove one of the strategic resource costs from it, though. And otherwise kind of keep it as it is. It would likely be their district that would change. And I would probably add... I would probably give it the Teuton treatment, where it counts as a maker's quarter. Doesn't provide any industry bonus, but it counts as a maker's quarter, or a food quarter, or a science quarter. Whichever one, I wouldn't really mind, but I think that would be a good way to give them a little bit of a buff, and then we could keep tuning it from there if it proved to still not be strong enough. I do, though, more broadly, like the idea of lifting things up, rather than nerfing and pushing things down. Speaking of lifting things up, Laputhi, finally, ... you said. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the Mini Pixels. I really appreciate you consistently supporting the stream like that. And to show my gratitude, La Venta is now going to become Lay Venta. No, it's not. It's going to be named after you, my friend. Thanks so much for becoming a member. One of us. We'll grab Notre Dame in this era, rather than the fame-generating Great Mosque. I really appreciate it, thank you. Hey, some old guy in Hawaii. Byzantines or Byzantines? Thank Kiwis. Byzantines because they're a merchant culture, obviously. Of course it's buy. That's all they do is buy. They buy things. Yeah, I get ripped on that all the time. Although, actually, in instances where I'm genuinely just saying something wrong, not when it's disputed based on regionality, but when I'm genuinely just pronouncing like a foreign word wrong, like Josie on, which is not pronounced, you don't pronounce the E, I'm told. I really appreciate being told if it's something like that, though, because then I am genuinely just making an ass out of me and you. Okay, who just declared war on me and why? Who was it? The Ghanaians.
There are no more discussions. And battle now.
My people won't be.
Is that really a wise idea? Interesting. This throws a bit of a spanner in the works to the Byzantine era, doesn't it? Or the crossbow upgrade would be fantastic, but I'm going for the peasants first. Actually, I think that's okay. Let's move people off money and put them onto industry or science. Which might seem weird playing a merchant culture, but hopefully the districts that I'm building can make up for the lost revenue in the short term. The extra scientists will help me get crossbows, but not that much quicker. And oh good God, we've got a tide of elephants rolling our way. Oh jeez, Rick. Okay. Without the crossbows, this is tricky. Anti-cavalry, my anti-cavalry's outclassed because I don't have the pikemen yet, so they're too weak. You lads. We need you back here 5 turns ago. Urks might be able to quickly push a cavalry or 2 or 3. Okay. This city can quickly push out 3 cavalry. Put more people onto science, it makes no difference. So no need to go nutso expruzzo over there. In fact, we'll just leave that lie. Oh, I do not like this.
The first ship is
Run!
a wonderful thing. Sadly for the crew, we're likely to see the first seasickness as well.
That'll just bring a little bit of extra military strength up here, hopefully, to defend this city. Merge those guys together again, make an army out of them. Got walls coming online in 2 turns. I could sacrifice 7 people to get them, but I think that's a bad idea, Chief. Attaching that is a good idea, though, because that'll fill up all my jobs. It'll hurt my stability, but that is kind of a lower concern to me now, really. Cool. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, no, just spill drink all down the front of my top. That's cool. Oh dear. Okay. Laputhi. Counterattack? Surely. They're still technically weaker than me, but it scares me because I just kind of don't trust that. Cavalry will be useless at getting over walls. Perhaps we just need a turn's worth of swordsmen. It's 4 of the yobbos as well. Awesome. Oh, hold on. Actually, hold on. Get 1 ranged unit as well. Can stand at the back and send about 2 damage at people. Okay, we'll produce those units, and then next turn we'll say, hey, you moron, you left your capital undefended. Maybe I can win the war by taking it. May as well bring these units over as well. They could be useful in future. Sus. Give me an archer, fill it with glee, and the city that irks me. 2 more cavalry. And then that's going to be all she wrote. Let's trade some more...
How are you today?
Anything that I can afford. Salt. I'm fairly salty. Incense might be good for our money generation, though. So I'll grab some of that.
Another empire has
Spend money to make money. So if I just buy the influence, maybe we can. Ah, yes. Time to poll for the early modern era. Good point. Next Fest demos and need to relax with a good streamer. Oh, there is some great Next Fest stuff out there, eh? I probably should actually spend some time trying to cover that. Yeah, the God game that I played the other day was super cool. And nice that you're here. Okay, so if you don't know, I released my Humankind early modern era tier list yesterday with a couple of controversial picks. Most of them were fairly well accepted. My question to you is, because of course this is really more about what culture we all think is the worst, not just me shouting my opinion. Who are we going to play in the early modern era? Who's the worst culture? Octo, now fully back. And didn't forget to press the like button on the video. Thank you, Octo! I haven't actually liked it myself, so maybe I can be the 61st like by the looks. Sweet! Amazing. Absolutely amazing. When you refuse surrender terms from the losing side, you lose war support and they gain 20. Yeah. Refusing someone's surrender is seen as a move of tyranny. And therefore it doesn't have the impact on war support that you'd like. Because the people are like, well, we don't need to fight anymore. And then you as their ruler, you're like, no, you will keep fighting. And that therefore reduces your war support. I think is the kind of... the why behind it, anyway. Hey, I forgot to get Murga, the new city of Murga, which in 1 turn with feudalism is going to be ready to go. Hopefully it'll help my yields. In the meantime, Tainted Waters. Let's go overproductive. Stuff it, dude. And let's strike here now this turn as well. Hey, San Lorenzo. They chose to manually fight me. That's a good sign. All we have to do is hold the line. So, units to the front. Unfortunately, my redeploy hasn't come in immediately, but fortunately, the AI doesn't block it, so they're going to be kind to me and let me deploy all of these horses, or this one horse, I should say, who's actually entirely useless. Cool. Just kidding. We can run out this way and stab this unit that's out in the open. Nice. Let's get the archers deployed anywhere they can that is safe? Question mark? Not super safe there. Not really in range anywhere else to attack though. Interesting. Maybe get someone out of the way. Nah, there isn't really a space. The archers are kind of garbage anyway, so... Sorry, Archer. It's true. I'll just fire with them. Why not? And these attacks are less why not, but actually, maybe we could get a little bit of value there. Try and make sure that everybody's as weak as possible so they deal as little damage as possible as well. Getting that unit down into the red is probably the best way to do that. Don't go for Warhammer 3. I'm a Total War veteran, and it's really not worth it. Interesting. I heard amazing feedback on Warhammer 3. Best game ever kind of feedback. And I've heard the opposite. I put a poll on the channel page because I wanted to try and get a broad canvas to try and understand what the general consensus. General consensus was it averaged out at 3 out of 5. Go figure. The average result was what the average person chose. So yeah, my data suggests it's average. However, as Huck often points out, Game Pass being the best value in gaming, if you have Game Pass, then you can try it fairly easily. I don't. I do believe it's the best value in gaming though. Totally agree. Yeah, haven't tried it. Nice to know what you think though. Anyone else in chat have any strong feelings, one way or the other, about the new Total War game? A lot of the feedback that I've heard from creators has been rather positive. What do I think about the AI in the game? It's a pretty broad question, Bunker. In general, pretty good. They make mistakes in manual combat. So do I. In general, actually quite good. Particularly because if you create a persona, or if you download other people's personas to play against, the AI will actually have unique behaviors through them, as well as through all of the other things in any other 4X game that influences their behavior, like the culture or civ that they're playing. So Humankind has a really interesting AI. I don't know enough about it, like the technicalities of it, to say, you know, if it's sort of technically better or worse, but I think as far as 4X games go, Humankind's AI is pretty good. Am I writing home about it? Probably not, but it's pretty good. Pew pew pew! Speaking of pretty good, let's get this dude out of here. Move someone healthy up to the front line. Generally always a good move. And, ooh. End round, defend the flag! Right, so they're moving into this open space because it's the only other tile where they can get to the flag. The downside for them is it allows my units to deal more damage to them because they're not defending behind their walls, right? So even though it is, like, technically, like, why is the AI doing that? That's silly. I mean, there's some logic to it, right? They're trying to maximize attacks on the flag to win the fight. I'm gonna step behind enemy lines and tidy you up. Stab over there and tidy you up. Hustle you in behind enemy lines as well. And Bob is your uncle. We are looking really good now in this fight. San Lorenzo probably shouldn't have declared war on me. But again, actually, this is probably more of a failure on the AI's behavior rather than its pathing. Because it has the units to defend the city, it's just decided to send them out on the aggression instead. Will that pay off for it? Maybe. If it can flip 2 of my cities in the time that I can flip 1 of theirs. I don't know what it's thinking. Are they difficult to play against? Are they smart or dumb? Well, I mean... The other thing to consider with that is it's really the difficulty setting that will determine whether they're smart or dumb. But it does it in ways of applying multipliers rather than changing the way that they think. If you want to actually, my understanding, if you want to actually change the way that it behaves, rather than just making it stronger or weaker, i.e. more difficult or less difficult, would be to look at the personas rather than the difficulty level. So you can kind of think about it at 2 different levels. Hopefully that made sense. That battle's going to continue for another turn, which is totally fine. We're winning like there's no tomorrow. And what? See, like, what are they doing? There's 10 units here. Where are they going to go? Sus seems like the obvious target for them. But now that it's got its walls online and potentially 5 units ready to defend, maybe not. This city, therefore, looks like the next weakest target. Again, though, I reckon I can probably get it defended well enough that we at least don't lose it. We might not necessarily win the fight, you know, glorious success, look how great we are. But I reckon we can get it to a point where we don't lose it. Likewise, let's bounce through to the very important turn 103 and get this new city online. You horsey people will move as close to the other army as possible without leaving the security of their walls. I think that's a good idea. I could be wrong, but I think that's a reasonable idea. Okay. More hippodromes? Hardly know her. Fantastic. Not that that can actually be queued up, so we'll just do infrastructure while we wait. Don't mind me, just building some artificial reservoirs while the entire city is under siege. Okay, speaking of under siege, finally, let's get Murga, the brand new city that is, Constantinopolis. Amazing. Just bear with 1 second. Hey, thanks everybody. Sorry about that. I probably should have put the BRB screen on. It was just a little longer than I thought. Ooh. I think we'll just start attaching things here, right? This city's got all of its infrastructure, so it can build things quite quickly. I guess the other thing to consider, though, is this district's going to provide 27 gold regardless. I don't want to smash down an existing one for just a tiny little bit of extra gold. So we'll place that there. Anything else to quickly speed out? Probably not. A little bit of extra industry is always useful, but looks like this is a foodie place. Can't quite get that in 1 turn. So, let's grow instead. And let's grow our faith. Hallelujah. Tier 2. All the good ones are gone, except for... Undertake Pilgrimage actually might be better than Observe Feasts. Usually I would go Observe Feasts, but without a whole lot of unique harbours, I'm going to Undertake Pilgrimage, I think. Time will tell if that's the right move. I don't know. I really don't know. Demanding that I surrender to the Ghanaians? Don't be ridiculous. What? No! Another hippodrome down. Love it. Any industry? Oh, 18. Okay, good. Get a couple of those 18s down as well. And let's give the capital a obelisk to the gods to worship the Almighty. And then my civics will be cheaper thanks to our faith. I don't know, maybe it pays off. 4 summons for the crossbows. My archers are so out of date at this point. These elephants are laughing at me. Look, this guy on the top of this elephant. He's just wetting himself laughing at how crappy my ranged units are. Although, good enough to beat you, bucko. I think it could just be a boat here. So, I'm just gonna move some units out and just, like, kind of look at it. Just gonna stare at this boat really intently. It can't do anything. So, just keep firing at it with all the ranged units into end round. Oh! Oh no! Reinforcements have arrived! Stupid boat. Move behind the wall. Hopefully they'll move out. I don't know. Either way, I've got the flag. So this fight will just continue. We were so close, but that stupid boat kept them in the fight. Unbelievable. Yes, yes. Artisan is absolutely right. Yeah, like we were talking about before with the personas and how they have their own traits and abilities that impact their behavior. Absolutely. Spot on. Fart. And actually start destroying that boat because melee units. See ya. End round. Hopefully there isn't another oh, for God's sake. Oh, jeez. Looks like this fight is not going to be over anytime soon. As it starts to swing back into their favor, again because of the one boat, I see some scary ranged units coming in now. Oh, I do not like that. It's, as you can see, not a good idea for me to even try to attack them with my melee units. The horse, there's not really any point in attacking because it can't actually get over the walls, right? But it's one of the only weak units that is actually within my range. So, clearly, we need to reinforce those units. Hello? Okay. And can we hustle anyone else over here? And what is going on here? Ridiculous. I need my crossbows. 5 turns. Okay. Throw some scientists on. Actually doesn't change anything. It's still 5 turns. Yep. That's fine, I think. I think that's fine. Alright, everybody. I'm going to wrap up today's stream here. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you to our one new YouTube member, Puthi. Long-time viewer. Thanks for becoming a mini pixel. And also thanks to Demetrion, who resubscribed on Twitch. And, of course, cheers for hanging out today, everybody. It's good fun. We got through... we went Hittites, Goths, and now we're about halfway through the Byzantines. So, pretty decent progress. We are fame check still in first, but what worries me the most is, firstly, how quickly player 2 is catching up. And surging ahead of me in terms of era progress as well, it's important to note, so we'll need to try and play catch up there. And more importantly, this mess, which was so close, but a flaming boat got in the way. Hey, thank you, Shorty. Really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. We are going to raid Bostius, because Bostius is live playing some Civilization 6. We haven't raided Bos in ages. He took a mental health break a week ago. I had a few days out. It's been a long time, so we're probably a relatively fresh face. Thank you to everybody who watched on YouTube as well, from Octopus to Forex Gamer, to Huck for keeping us safe, Hexodus, Archibuzz, Terentius as well. Thanks everybody. I will catch you next time.